Greetings everyone and welcome to my channel. I'm your host Captain Ryan. Today's video comes to us courtesy of Ethan7878. And Ethan is playing in the Tier 10 British light cruiser Minotaur here in World of Warships. As the battle gets underway, it's loop, it's domination match mode, and it is obviously a very Tier 10 battle. Now, if you're watching this and you haven't yet had the pleasure or mispleasure of playing against a Minotaur or playing with the Minotaur, then a little bit of background info for you. It is a British light cruiser, so it is equipped with a smokescreen, or, and something you have to be very careful about at those higher tiers, it can be equipped with a radar instead of a smokescreen. You'll find that out pretty quickly in most battles, as long as you're paying attention. It comes equipped with a hydroacoustic and a heal, all standard. Now you can swap the hydro, I do believe, for defensive fire. But that's not necessarily recommended with this particular cruiser. But it does have some pretty good anti-aircraft. Because it's a British cruiser, it only gets the armor-piercing or the semi-armor-piercing round. But don't let that fool you. These rounds are very, very effective, especially with plunging fire, and the arcs on these guns are very, very much so rainbow arcs, so those shots are going to come in right on top of you. If you're in a destroyer and you run across one of these, you'd better just basically turn around and run the other way. It's a fairly fast ship. It tends to have a lot of pickup and go forward and reverse very quickly. So expect him to torpedo beats pretty regularly. Now, the only time you should engage one of these ships if you're in a destroyer is if you're at full strength. He's got 1,000 strength and you're at a range of less than 4 kilometers, and you can effectively just citadel him to death. Otherwise, you're going to have a bad time. I cannot tell you the number of times I've engaged one of these ships in my Fletcher and he's come out on top. Ethan is headed up here to the B cap point. And you can see here he's using this island for cover, and he's got himself a nice willing victim out there. Now he's popping his smoke screen so he can avoid being hit by all of the big nasty guns down range. The problem with the British light cruisers is they are just that, they are light cruisers. That means they don't have a lot of armor, and you can very easily citadel them. In fact, if you have 8-inch guns or larger, you can effectively overmatch the bow on this ship and pretty much citadel it from any angle. Now, Ethan's got his hydroacoustic up, very wise when sitting in the smokescreen, especially considering there's not one but now 2 smokescreens up in front of him, and he did spot an enemy destroyer. He's got his torpedoes off and out into that smokescreen there. That enemy destroyer probably does not have a hydroacoustic, so he's gonna go ahead and have to torpedo beats the old-fashioned way by predicting where those torpedoes are coming from. Ethan's got himself a nice broadside cruiser to shoot at here, and you can see there he's trying to turn away. That cruiser's definitely on fire, and he's definitely going down, and Ethan manages to secure the kill on him, getting the first blood with a wonderful 29,000 damage done so far. More torpedoes coming in. Those are from the other destroyer there. You can see the spread. He's gone both sides of the island there. Hydroacoustic still active here, so Ethan is going to go ahead. He's going to push up, not quite out of his smokescreen, but just enough to poke the cap here. He doesn't want to leave his smokescreen. He's still got a lot of time on that, and he doesn't know where those destroyers are. Remember, this is a light cruiser, so you have to be careful about your positioning. More importantly, your detection range is pretty sizable, especially compared to destroyers. Speaking of destroyers, Ethan's team manages to lose one of their destroyers. That leaves them with just 1 to the enemy's 3. Now, the enemy team gets that destroyer advantage, but you can see here, Ethan's team, they've already captured the A cap point, and they're up at A in force. For the most part, it looks like the enemy team is going up to A in force as well, and they're basically just leaving B alone. More importantly, from the looks of it on the minimap, nobody has gone to C. Now, Ethan is detected here. That tells him that there is an enemy destroyer nearby, but he's got more pressing matters to worry about. Specifically, he's got a battleship down over here that could be a very significant problem if this guy decides he wants to come around the headland of that island, because Ethan is effectively broadside on. But you'll notice there, he is reversing. And now, he's got a friendly cruiser smokescreen to sit in. That's the Kutuzov laying down a smokescreen. So between the two of them, the Kutuzov and the Minotaur here, that Iowa has really got to be contemplating his potential life problems. Torpedoes coming in here, and this does not look good for the Kutuzov. But is he gonna torpedo beats it? Come on, almost. He almost makes it. More torpedoes coming in here. Again, lots of destroyer action at the B-cap point. And Kutuzov really has found himself in a very much so no-win situation, as he's effectively forced to go broadside onto everything to try and run away. And the Kutuzov is going to meet his end. At this point, the enemy team is in the lead with ships, but because they haven't gotten a cap yet, this is going to be fairly important. Now, Ethan manages to hit enemy destroyer out in the open, manages to hit another enemy destroyer out in the open, and he takes out one of their destroyers. Plus, we know where that other one is, and we know how much health he has left. But more importantly, at this particular moment, he's got to deal with an Iowa. Now this Iowa, as you can see, he's lobbing shots in here. Ethan isn't quite detected yet, but something you got to think about when you're playing a cruiser with a smoke screen is that your detection range is a thing that you have to worry about in your smoke screen now, especially if you're in the British light cruisers. Now he switches over to the single fire mode of torpedo launcher so that he can get these very, very accurate. He pops his hydroacoustic and he is being detected. That's either going to be hydro or radar. Not sure which yet, but that is going to leave him open and exposed there, and he got very, very lucky that Iowa did not just impart a massive Citadel. Manages to take the Iowa out, gets Citadel there at the very end, switches fire immediately over to that destroyer. Again, talking about dealing with Minotaurs as a destroyer captain, you just don't do it. Don't engage with them unless you are absolutely certain of victory. Now Ethan's got himself a broadside New Orleans shootout here. These may only be 6-inch guns, but boy, they sure do pack a punch when you're broadside onto them at this kind of range. And again, with the heal, he manages to recover quite a bit of health lost there. Starts shooting down some aircraft from the carrier that's come over. Now, his team is currently in the points lead, and they're in the lead in general because they've managed to take out 2 of the 3 enemy destroyers. So that means their destroyers are now equal. Neither side has a destroyer advantage. More importantly, they have the A cap point. They're gaining points, and they're capping B and now C on top of it. So they're gaining even more points. And if the enemy doesn't want to push up here, and I see it all too often with too many teams, the end result is that the teams just basically lose because they failed to cap. Now he's got this broadside New Orleans again out in the distance here. Gonna try and finish him off, does secure it, and secures his Kraken in the process. So far, of the 5 enemy ships sunk, Ethan is the only person on his team to have sunk all of those ships. Yes, so far, he has managed to kill everything on the enemy team that his team claims. And with the elimination of that cruiser, that now means that his destroyer doesn't have to worry too much about another radar cruiser. So he can actually go up and start looking maybe for that aircraft carrier. With all the caps captured, if you're in a destroyer in this situation, there's not much really you have to worry about doing. The caps are done. Maybe stick around, hang around where the enemy is focusing. Right now, the enemy's focusing a lot at the A cap point. So if you're into the destroyer, go up to the A cap point. If you're Ethan and you're in this cruiser here, you'll notice here he's just kind of sitting back. He's taking stock. He knows that the enemy Minotaur is back in that smoke screen. And he's waiting. He's specifically waiting for that smoke screen to dissipate so he can go ahead, get in there, and start lobbing shells at him. But you'll notice here, now that he's out in the open, that smoke screen is going to start dissipating. He's actually going to start moving forward, and he's going to move forward to utilize the island as cover. This is a tactic that you see a lot of Atlanta players do here. They've got an island like this with a low ridge in between 2 peaks, and they can really just kind of sit back behind that island, lob shells over the island at enemy targets, and cause non-stop and continuous harassing fire. But Ethan's going to go ahead. He's not going to just sit back there. He's actually going to push forward. He's going to get himself into a better position here. And there, the enemy ship is spotted. So he goes ahead, he gets shots off there. He's detected. See, he switches over to his torpedoes there to see which direction that enemy ship is going. Gets shots out there at the enemy destroyer. Look at the flight time out there. It's hard to tell whether or not that destroyer will still be alive when those shots reach him, and it actually looks like they are at the moment. So the question is, who's actually going to get the kill on that destroyer? Is it going to be Ethan? Is he going to secure 6 of 6 at this point? I'm not sure, but you know what? Everybody on the team really did need to focus down that destroyer, because when they're spotted like that, you gotta take the opportunity. Ethan manages to citadel the Minotaur out there and has a Mogami come around the corner there, and he just absolutely rips into him. At that kind of range, multiple citadels there, and that guy had no chance. But you gotta figure if he came around that corner, there's a potential for torpedoes. Given that particular class of cruiser, probably not likely, because you gotta be aiming your stern towards the enemy to get those away. Instead, switches back over to the Minotaur. He's just gonna go ahead, he's gonna continue firing away at this guy and put rounds downrange. You can see there, the enemy team has finally pushed up. They're starting to capture the A cap point, and they've actually managed to pull the scores back just a little bit. They've drop the team's list back to 5 versus 5, each team with 1 destroyer, but you gotta be careful here because, well, this guy in the Minotaur is doing pretty damn well. He's got 6 kills, and he's probably looking for more. Enemy Alabama out here, can he secure the kill on that Alabama? Very low health, come on, shots going out there, very rapid fire, does manage to secure yet another kill. At this point, he's earned himself the First Blood, Kraken Unleashed, and Confederate, but not yet High Caliber. Let's see if he can do that. Enemy team manages to kill their last remaining destroyer, so now the enemy destroyer is the only destroyer left. He's not got a lot of health, and if he runs into Ethan here, I think that's going to be pretty much the end of him, so he's definitely going to try and keep his distance. You can see here as Ethan leaves his smoke screen, he is detected. Enemy carriers still in play, so he's going to send planes over to spot. Very smart move there. Not necessarily the smartest move when you don't have a lot of planes left, simply because tier 10 cruiser, no matter the nation, is going to rip into it. You see these shots coming in over those islands there. They are hitting Ethan, but they're not doing a lot of damage. That's the semi-armor piercing coming in from the Minotaur that's in that smoke screen. Now, he's using this island for cover. He doesn't want to come around full force with this battleship there, especially since he was detected, since that battleship knows he was there. But you see there, he got close enough. That battleship had Hydro up, saw him briefly for just a split second. If the enemy team's paying attention, they definitely could have spotted him, but it looks like the last person that was really in any position to do anything is this Minotaur, and while he is paying attention, it's going to be too little too late when you consider the amount of health he had left and that he was giving broadside on. So that's 8 kills at this point, and now there's the enemy carrier out in the open and ready to go. Ethan's going to go ahead and start dropping in shots on this carrier. And you can see there he's getting some bounces and he's getting a lot of shatters. He's not going to do a lot of damage because that carrier does have a bit of an armored flight deck. Very, very annoying, I can say, personally, when I'm in a destroyer and I'm having this problem. But look there, he's managed to secure his High Caliber award to go with all of the other massive amounts of destruction. That carrier player, though he did try, he's now got himself the friendly carrier player on Ethan's team coming at him. Plus, he's got a few other ships that are going to take shots at him. And Ethan is going to go ahead, he's going to try and get shots over this island and secure that kill. Can he do it? Can he get 9 out of it? Nope, it's not going to be his to take. But still, though, 177,000 damage, rounded up a little bit there. 8 kills, 11 citadels. Kraken Unleashed, Confederate, First Blood, and High Caliber in that game. And only 1 base cap, but a good number of base defense ribbons, as well as 14 aircraft shot down in that battle. Sadly, though, no torpedo hits. It's always nice to get those beautiful torpedo hits and flooding icons when you have ships that have them. But look at that. Top of the team for XP earned at well over 3,500 base XP. Actually, I think that's 3,600 base XP. So a very, very impressive base XP. And well done to you, Ethan7878. Thank you for submitting this video. Anyway, that's it for today's video, folks. If you liked the video, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment down below. If you'd like to get semi-regular channel news and updates, you can do so by liking and following me on Facebook. If you'd like to help support me and the channel, as well as gain supporter perks, you can do so by becoming my supporter on Patreon. If you've got a replay like this one that you'd like to see featured on my channel, you can do so by sending it to my email. If you'd like to watch me play various games live, probably more so following the holiday season, you can do so by following me on Twitch. You can find the links for all of those in the video description down below. And in this particular video, I want to say a special shout out to my parrot, who decided he was going to be vocal at very inopportune moments. I hope it didn't bother you too much. And as always, I'll see you next time. This is Captain Rye, signing off.